Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So a lot of you have heard my story about losing 45 pounds, but one thing I haven't talked enough about is my experience with hypothyroidism. If you're not sure what that is, basically hypothyroidism means that the little thyroid gland, which little butterfly shaped gland right here that controls your metabolism, your mood, your weight, hair, skin, nails, pretty much everything, isn't doing its job. I was diagnosed when I was 11, and at that time, no one I knew had even heard of hypothyroidism. It was super uncommon, especially for younger women. But now it's like 1 in 5 women that have hypothyroidism, and there's even more that have unexplained symptoms that haven't been diagnosed yet. So there are a lot of super common symptoms amongst like women that have hypo. I feel like I've experienced probably all of them. So I wanted to share a little bit more of my story, like getting diagnosed, the symptoms that I had, and how I got past those. And I think one of the biggest questions that I get is how to lose weight with hypothyroidism. So some of the stuff that I did that has had the biggest impact on my health and my weight, and really helping get my thyroid to a healthy place. So if you've been struggling with hypothyroidism, struggling to lose weight, or dealing with any other symptoms like that, or you just think you might have hypothyroidism, this video is for you. And I just want you to know you are not alone. There's so many of us women who are feeling frustrated dealing with these symptoms, or trying to get a diagnosis, or being just unsure what's going on with our bodies. So just know you have this community right here. And if that is you, I want you to sweat the thumbs up and comment down below. Let us know how you're feeling, like what is going on. I genuinely want this community to be a place where we all can feel like we can share our experience, be open, and hopefully help each other out, because someone might be going through something similar to you, or have already come out the other side and have advice to share that could be super helpful. And if you're new to my channel, I'm so happy you guys are here. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. I have new videos every week sharing my health and fitness journey to help you with yours, plus giveaways every single week for my subscribers that I share over in the community channel. So make sure you say hi in the comments down below, and maybe you could be this week's winner. All right, so first I just want to share a little bit more of like my story and experience with hypothyroidism, because most women get diagnosed like in their 20s or 30s. Like I said, I was diagnosed at 11, and since then have also been diagnosed with Hashimoto's and IBS, and I'll talk more about that. But all the things I experienced, like weight gain, chronic fatigue, like I had no energy. I'd sleep 9 hours a night and still feel exhausted, constant headaches, dry eyes, dry skin. There's so much going on, and all the doctors and my teachers and everyone, well, teachers thought I was faking it. Doctors just kind of wrote it off as like normal, like hormonal changes for an 11-year-old. Clearly, it was not. It took me 6 months to get a diagnosis. I don't want anyone to have to wait that long. So I'm gonna share a little bit more of like from my experience, what I think is gonna help you figure out what's going on and not have to wait 6 months for a diagnosis. So we'll do a little quiz together in a second. But like for me, I think the biggest thing was really the lack of information around nutrition. No one mentioned nutrition. And now fast forward a lot of years later, I realized that's had the biggest impact on my health and on my thyroid. Now I'm considered in remission. What that means is basically your thyroid levels are in like the normal range for an extended period of time. So I'm going on year 4, even through pregnancy, of my levels being in a healthy range. I am on medication. I have been my whole life though, and they were still like up and down, up and down, up and down. So you can't really ever fully heal, at least this is what my endo told me. You can't ever fully like heal your thyroid, but it can like go in remission with medication and proper like care for it. It just takes a plan. So I quickly just want to like touch on the Hashimoto's and IBS. So Hashimoto's is a tricky thing. Hashimoto's and hypothyroidism are not the same thing, but Hashimoto's can cause hypothyroidism. So it's an autoimmune disease that can cause an underactive thyroid. I had an underactive thyroid. I was never diagnosed with Hashimoto's until about maybe 6 or 7 years ago. Then they said I had Hashimoto's, although my endo also said you can only have a true diagnosis of that with a biopsy, which no one really does. But they can do an antibody test that can also give you a pretty good idea if you have Hashimoto's. And since then, they've kind of like left that out, and I just have hypothyroidism. So it's been very confusing, and I understand why if you guys are going through this, you are confused too, because there's no real clear answer. But at the end of the day, I have hypothyroidism. That is clear, that is there. I also have Hashimoto's as part of that, and IBS. And I've been diagnosed with IBS because I have so many issues associated with my digestion and constipation and everything else because of my hypothyroidism. So there's a lot going on here in this little body, but I will say I have never felt better than I have the last probably 4 or 5 years. And I know, like I said a second ago, so much of it comes back to nutrition. Like I wrote my Hypo 101 meal plan to help other women fuel their bodies in a way that is going to like help reduce the symptoms of hypothyroidism, because in my experience, that is what made the biggest impact of all. But let's talk about the symptoms, because I feel like there are so many different things out there, and some of these can be related to a number of different issues, but if you have multiple of them, it's likely related to your thyroid. First and foremost, I have to say this is not medical advice, you guys. I'm not a doctor. I'm Katie. I'm a certified personal trainer, sports nutritionist. That is my wheelhouse. I've been going to endocrinologists and doctors about my thyroid since I was 11 years old. But I am not a doctor. So this is stuff you can find online. You should talk to a doctor if you have any of these signs and symptoms, and I'll get more on that later because it's really specific how you want to do that. Okay, I wrote these down for us. So we're gonna take a little quiz. I want you to do like, you know, like, what is it, 10 fingers? Whatever, you know, the game? We're gonna play that game, but it's really only 7 fingers, so just hold up 7. And if you have one of these, I just want you to put down a finger. Okay, got it? You get it. Okay, ready? These are the most 7 common signs and symptoms of hypothyroidism. Number 1, you have like a pesky 5 to 15 pounds you cannot lose no matter what you do. So if that's you, put a finger down. Number 2, low energy. And I'm talking like you sleep well, you eat well, you should have like decent energy, but you just feel tired all the time. Okay, if that's you, put a finger down. This was me when I was in my 20s even, so far. Great. Number 3, low sex drive, low libido. It is a very, very common sign of hypothyroidism. Don't be shy and don't lie. It's just us girls. If that is you, if it's low, if you're like, I love my partner, I want to be like there, but I'm just like, it's not happening. Put that finger down. Number 4, dry skin, especially your heels. Like if your heels are cracked and dry, that is a very, very common sign of hypothyroidism. But dry skin in general, even if you're slathering yourself, like I do like full seal mode, put a finger down. All right, this one's interesting. Number 5, thinning hair, right? Like thinning hair, but there's 2 things that are pretty common if you have hypo. 1, okay, this is weird, you guys. The back crown of your head hair is like kind of like always shorter. It's very common. I'm not the only one, I promise you. And the outer third of your eyebrow is like thin and short. So like I have like fairly good eyebrows, but the tail on this side is always like missing. It's like tiny. I sometimes will like go like dee dee and try to draw it in a little because it's shorter. It's weird, but it's a common thing. Okay, so if that's you, put a finger down. Number 6, you are always cold, but also sweat a lot. So you might get night sweats, you might have like clammy hands and feet, but you also are like so sensitive and feel like you're always cold. If that's you, put a finger down. And the last one, you have a lot of anxiety, negative intrusive thoughts, mood swings, irritability. Now, if that's you, put a finger down. Okay, I'll get into the explanation in a second. So I want you right now to comment down below how many fingers you still have up. So if you have 0 fingers up, you got all these going on. If you have like 2 fingers up, you have 5 of these, right? Comment down below, tell me how many fingers you're holding up still. I literally had all of these, all of them. The only thing I still kind of deal with is like my hair is always really thin, like no matter what I do. I think that dry skin, like I still get dry skin. All the other things I've gotten way better through the years, but those ones are ones that like have stuck a little bit. I feel like your skin is kind of, it's a challenging one. The anxiety, intrusive thoughts, that kind of comes and goes, but it was really, really, really bad in my 20s, and it was bad postpartum for a short period of time, but we're in a much healthier place, thankfully. I have a few do's and don'ts for you too. Like if these are symptoms that you're experiencing, I want to talk to you about like what to do about it, especially if you're not sure if you have hypothyroidism. But even if you know you have it, one, like I said, diet is going to be the most important thing. That Hypo 101 meal plan is amazing. My new feel good gut guide is also going to be incredible for my hypo girls because your gut is so connected to your thyroid function and your ability to digest properly, for your mood, your skin. Your gut impacts all of this. So honestly, like, we're going to start doing that together on the 19th. If you haven't downloaded it yet, go get that gut guide. We're going to do the meal plan together. It's so incredible, but you'll understand the big connection because the thyroid, like, it literally, it's all, I know your gut's not really here, but like, it's all so connected, you guys. It'll have such an incredible impact. The stuff that I put in this gut guide is things I learned, especially trying to heal and get into that remission of my thyroid over the last 5 years. My low energy has improved through the years by my nutrition, but also by being active. And I think that's the hardest thing to work out when you have hypothyroidism. You are tired. It is hard to be motivated. But I found even just committing to 10 minutes a day, the more I moved my body, the better I felt every day and the more energy I had. It compounded. So it was hard at first, but it got easier and easier, and I have more and more energy. Low sex drive, you guys. It's a real thing, and it is hard, and it can be so frustrating. My miscongeniality has helped so much. That is part of why I started making that mood boost. I made it for my thyroid, not just for my brain fog, not just for my mood, but also because that has ingredients that can help with libido and like your hormone balance. It's so frustrating how much the thyroid impacts. Like, you can feel like a complete hot mess. But also, once you start getting these things right, you feel so good. So if you're not already doing Miss C and this is an issue for you, definitely try her out. The rest of it, the dry skin, all of that, the natural beauty I take every single day, that really helps with that. I slather myself with lotion. I do my oils on my face. I feel like that's like that, and the hair is just gonna kind of stick with me for like life probably. But the anxiety also has gone down so much. Again, the gut health is so tied to your mood and anxiety. Moving your body every day, exercising for your brain and for your mood has a huge impact. So those are little things you can do to help improve some of those symptoms. But here's the thing, if you're not sure if you have hypothyroidism, or if you do have it and you've been diagnosed, there's something you really need to make sure happens. So first, if you had any of those 7 signs or symptoms, don't try to self-diagnose. Know that that means maybe you have hypothyroidism, but don't try to self-diagnose and don't try to treat yourself. You need to go to an endocrinologist who specializes in this. So your regular doctor is great. If you love your doctor, awesome. I love my doctor, but I go to an endocrinologist. You want to go to someone who really, really specializes in this so they can pinpoint the cause and make sure they give you an accurate diagnosis as quickly as possible. And something that like I have found through the years is a lot of doctors, even endo sometimes, will just do like a general panel of blood work with some of the thyroid hormones in there to test your thyroid, but there's a really specific panel and a specific test you want to get if you're unsure. So one thing you want to make sure that they check is thyroid antibodies. That's what I was mentioned earlier, was connected to the Hashimoto's to know if it's autoimmune. But let me just read. I want to read the list because I don't want to mess it up for you guys because it's really important. Okay, a couple of things. TSH, so just like jot this down. When you go to your doctor, tell them these are things you want to make sure you get. TSH, T4, T3, free T4, free T3, reverse T3, we'll put these on screen, and thyroid antibodies. You need to get that full picture because they all impact each other differently, and if something is off, it could mean something completely different. So make sure you go to a real endocrinologist who specializes and get that full panel. Maybe there's even more that they have, but make sure you get those ones. I actually just went and got my blood work done again. I do it every 6 months. I did that like a week ago and everything came back in the normal range, which is such a blessing and so exciting. Again, keeping me in that like remission. I'm shocked that that happened through pregnancy, but to me, I truly, truly, truly believe it comes back to my diet. I've said this a million times already in this video. Like, those are the things that have had the biggest impact on reducing my symptoms, helping me feel good, and helping me lose the weight. It is gonna be harder, a little bit harder to lose those pesky pounds with hypothyroidism. But if you have the right nutrition and the right diet, you absolutely can do it. I let my hypothyroidism be an excuse to be 45 pounds overweight for way too long. And the problem with that was when my diet was bad, my weight was up, and my symptoms were worse. When my diet was good, my weight came down and my symptoms got better. They're all related. It is probably the most important thing you can do to help reduce your symptoms of hypothyroidism and to help yourself feel better, feel more energy, and get all of these in check. So if you haven't already, again, please, please, please check out the gut guide, check out the Hypo 101 meal plan. I didn't write these just because I think, oh, you should try it. Like, these are the things that changed my life and have helped me to feel so freaking good and say, yeah, I have hypothyroidism, but like, you wouldn't really know it because I don't deal with any of those symptoms anymore, not consistently. It's crazy, you guys. I spent a decade, more than a decade of my life struggling and feeling like this is how I was gonna be forever. And now I'm older, I've had a baby, and I feel the best I've ever felt. So trust me, they are gonna be game changers for you. Definitely check them out. I'll link everything down below. And I wanna keep sharing more of the story and really help answer any questions you guys have. So if you like this series, if you want me to do more on my hypo, comment down below. Just let me know what you want to know, what questions you have, so I can kind of like build it more in depth for you. But hopefully you found this helpful. I love you guys so much. I'm so happy just to get to be here and show up every week with you. And don't forget to check the community channel for this week's winner later today. Have an amazing rest of your week. Don't forget, good things come to those who sweat. So I'll see you soon. Bye.